Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Kendra and today's video I'm going to be doing a collaboration with my little sister Hope. We both picked what years we would do for each other. I picked for her to do her 1950s look and she picked for me to do 2011. Funny enough, that's the year I graduated high school, so I actually had to kind of research because at the time I didn't really play around with makeup during then, so I kind of found what was popular back then. I'm gonna link my little sister's video in the and in my description box, as well as her channel, and if you want to know how I got this look, then just keep on watching. The first step I'm going to do is prime the eyelids, and I'm using the NARS concealer in light 1.25 Affogato. Taking it and applying it on my eyelid and just blending it in. Taking the shade Zested from the Orangey Glad palette from Colourpop, and I'm placing that all over the lid just to set the concealer. Alright, looks good. Next we're going with the Wonder Beauty Illuminating Face Primer, and I'm applying that to parts of my face, and I'm going to blend that in to my skin. Next, I've taken the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. I'm going in with the shade Citrine at the top row, and I'm going to blend that right up in the crease. And I'm blending the shadow in using windshield wiping motions.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see.
Going back in with the Orangey Glad palette, and I'm going to take the shade Sun Kissed. It's a beautiful orange color, and I'm placing that right into the crease. I decided to go for an eye look that had orange and incorporate a little bit of yellow because in 2011 that was one of the popular colors from what I've researched. Bold looks were popular back then. Going back with the Natasha palette in the shade Citrine and going right back up above that last shade and just blending them two together.
Violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see when your stars have burnt out.
Now we're going back in with the Natasha palette, and we're going to use the second bottom shade that's called Carnelian, I believe, and we're going to place that on the outer V part of the eye, and I'm just going to build up the color and gradually work in and sweep outward.
Your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always.
Going back in with the Orangey Glad palette, we're going in with the shade Mimosa Mammy. It's a beautiful coral color, and I'm going to place that close towards where the last shade is. I'm only tapping on a little bit towards the outer part and towards the inner part, leaving the center lid open. And we're using the second shade in the Orangey Glad palette called Squeeze Me, and placing that in the center of the eyelid, and I'm just tapping it on to the center. Going back in with Mimosa Mammy and placing that in the inner corner of my eye, and I'm building up the color.
It's be my night sky.
Going back in with the Natasha Denona palette, going in with the shade Carnelian, and I am placing that towards the outer portion of my eye, and I'm building the color up, and I'm sweeping it out and blending it right up above the other colors that I placed. And I'm taking that shadow and sticking it in the crease. Going back with the Orangey Glad palette from Colourpop, going back in with Mimosa Mammy, and I'm just going to build out that the outer part. I had placed it previously and in the inner corner of my eye, and making sure those colors are built up.
You'll always be my mascara.
I'm going in with the e.l.f. 18 Wonders palette, dipping into the shade Solar, and I am applying that to the center of the eyelid. And I do go in with the Catrice setting mist, and I spray the applicator and dip into the same shadow, and I just build that color up until it is more opaque. And then I go back in with Sun Kissed from the Orangey Glad palette from Colourpop, and I just take it a little bit above, and then go back with Mimosa Mammy and make sure that color is built up. And then to the inner corner too. Going back in with the Natasha Denona Carnelian and just touching up the outer V. And then I'm also taking that same color, I am placing it in the middle and in the inner corner, just doing that. And I'm going in with L'Oreal Infallible Lacquer Liner in Black is Black. I'm just going to take an angled brush and line my eyes. Going in with the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner, Trooper Black, line my eyes. And going in with the Huda Beauty Matte Perfection Pre-Makeup Base, and I'm applying that to the rest of my face. Going in with the L'Oreal 24 Fresh Wear Foundation. I'm applying it with a foundation brush, using my hand first, and then I'm just gonna apply it to my skin, and I'm just gonna buff it into the skin.
You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see your blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the time. I can't find the point where
I go back in with a NARS concealer, making like a little kind of like a triangle shape, and lining down the eyes, and then taking a Wet n Wild brush and just smoothing it out. And I'm going with my Catrice fixing spray and spraying my face and fanning it to dry. And then I'm taking the Grande Drama mascara and I'm going to apply it to my lashes. Apologize, I had forgotten to push the record button to show you how I got the bottom color on the lower part of my eye. I just followed the same steps as I did below, where I took Mimosa Mammy in the inner corner, so that would be in the bottom inner part, and then in the middle is Solar from the e.l.f. palette, and then Mimosa Mammy again for a little bit, and then I sweeped it out with the Natasha Denona Carnelian in just that order. And I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer in the shade Rosewood, and I'm just going to bronze my face. I'm taking the Steve Laurent blush in Rosy All Day, and I'm just applying it to my cheeks. And going in with my Ofra Cosmetics highlight in Star Island, and applying it to the upper cheekbone.
But I always fear the dark. Now I see brightly. I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out.
As well as in the center of my forehead and a little bit above the Cupid's bow. And going with the Kylie Jenner lip kit in the shade Party Girl. And there you go. We have the finished look.
And your heart makes no sound. I'll find valid in your eyes.
I used the color pink for the lips because pink was also a popular color for lips back then. So I hope you all enjoyed watching, and stay tuned for more videos, and leave a like if you like this, comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
You'll always be my night sky.